Hi, everybody. This is Adhis Boucha, the New Money Mama. I am the CEO of New Money Mama and the creator of the Vivid Mind Method. Thank you for joining us this month for the Money Mama Chat. We've got a lot of things to talk about. So first off, if you're new to the Money Mama Chat, know that you receive a free subscription to the Mama's Money Zine, and that's a weekly video magazine that comes to your email with tips and tricks and videos to help you to build an abundant mindset and be a better steward of your financial resources. Well, let's see. So each month I talk with a mother who is making a huge difference in her family, in her community, in her mindset, in her bank account. And as we chat, hopefully that's of use for you. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, or suggestions for future guests, make sure to send me an email at adhis@newmoneymama.com. That's Adhis, A-D-H-I-S, at newmoneymama.com. Well, so ladies, here's what usually happens with us women. We think that because we've taken on paths where we're nurturing other people, little people, maybe big, hairy people, that we can't make a difference outside of that sphere. But I want to remind you of what the Dalai Lama said. He said, "The world will be saved by the Western woman." What does that mean? That is that the world will be saved by the women who have the most resources, the most compassion, who have access to the most ideas and freedoms. No matter where you are, if you're watching me on this video, you have access to resources that many of our sisters do not have. And it is our responsibility and our blessing to bring these freedoms, to bring these principles of joy and abundance to our sisters who haven't heard of it yet, to our sisters who have no access to education, to our sisters who do not know what their worth is. So today we're going to explore the topic of the law of attraction. Now most of you have heard of it. There's a few of you who are new to it. Well, let's talk about it. Does the law of attraction distract from spiritual values? We're going to talk about that. Why do good people attract bad experiences? And if you have a great life, why should you intentionally try to attract more prosperity? So to help me explore this topic, we have guest Andrea Graf. Andrea is a wife and a mother of 4 children, and in her family of origin, she learned a lot of principles of abundance and a wealthy mindset. And so when the movie The Secret came out about 7 years ago, her family was a little surprised that most people didn't already know these principles. And I have to say that I was on the same boat. This was new. It took the whole world by storm. It didn't just stay in the U.S. So her family was in awe that most people didn't know this. And also, I hope we'll have time to talk about this. From the worst of circumstances, Andrea learned that these principles actually had an application where you could come out of tragedy with gratitude. So let's find out. If people are following the law of attraction, why are they still attracting hard, difficult situations? So let's get into it. Let's welcome Andrea Graf. Andrea, hi. So glad you're here.
Thanks, Adhis. I am so glad to be here and get to share all of these wonderful things that I've been able to enjoy and be grateful for my whole life, really. I mean, from the time I was really little.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you here today and learn from your wisdom and your experiences. I know that it can be, just so you know, we don't mind kids because most of us on this call have our kids, so we know what it's like. All right, let's jump in. So about 7 years ago, The Secret came out in the book and the movie format, and it brought awareness about the law of attraction. So describe briefly for our watchers what the law of attraction is for those who are new.
Yes, well, the law of attraction is really that you attract or you bring about what you think about, and it's also called the law of vibration, which is a great name for it because it is that at kind of the frequency that you vibrate at, or the kind of energy that you're putting out into the world, is what's going to come back to you. And I really like to talk about it or describe it a different way, more like magnets, that we put out the energy that we want to put out, or or don't put out because we're focused so much on what we don't want, but we're putting out a certain energy, and just like a magnet attracts what it needs. You know, the north side of a magnet doesn't attract another north. It attracts the south because there's something that it needs, not because it's opposite, but because that's how a magnet works. That's how they work together. And we're like that. We attract what we need. So everything that comes to us in our lives is truly a gift and an opportunity, because they are inherent within every experience are these gifts of what we need, whether it's lessons that we need to learn, blessings, whatever, but it's always they're always inherently filled with blessings and gifts for us.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for explaining that. Okay, so here's the thing. When The Secret came out and everybody started getting excited about the law of attraction, they said, if I just think about what I want, then it'll just come to me. And probably about a year and a half afterwards is when I started hearing a lot of disgruntled people saying, I've thought about it and I haven't gotten it. And in fact, I got the opposite. So what's going on? The law of attraction doesn't work. The law of attraction doesn't work. Explain that one for people.
That's a good one. And it is the common problem that people have. The reality is it's always working. It is truly a law that is never turned off. You can't mess with it and make it do something because that's what you want. It's only going to work the way that it works. So if you really want to bring something into your life, you have to do more than just think, okay, I want this, and this is what I'm going to focus on stuff. You have to truly bring yourself into that space of it being, as if it already exists. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, if there are lessons that you need in order to be ready for that you're trying to bring about, then the universe will bring you those things first. Mm-hmm. And that can be really confusing, because you can be thinking, but this isn't what I wanted. This is the opposite of what I wanted, or this is, you know, what, but it's really just a preparation for what you want. You're not going to get what you want until those things have come through. And whether it's a lesson you need to learn because you're not quite exactly where you need to be yet, or it's just a foundational step towards it. Either way, if it hasn't come yet, it's because other things are coming in to help get you to where you need to be in order to get that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think most of us can relate to the example of the lottery winner who suddenly comes upon millions of dollars and then within years is either back to the same financial state or worse. They're feeling disheartened because they had this money come to them in a natural way, but that's another topic for another show. They've had this money come to them and they were not prepared. And so it's actually a blessing to have these preparatory skills be brought to you. So, all right, let's talk about this. If it's true that whether you have preparatory experiences or not, if it's true that we can dictate or attract things that we want, then where does this all fit in with spirituality and God? Because isn't He in charge?
Absolutely, He's in charge. I never doubt that for a moment. The thing is God is, well, I kind of imagine it this way, is, you know, there's the image of the horn of plenty, and no matter how much you take from the horn of plenty, there's always more there. Well, that's really kind of what God is. He is a being or a vessel that wants to do nothing but give. But He's going to give you what you need. And that's where the law of attraction works in. Is it's going to be what you need, and and that's all He's going to do. He just gives and gives and gives. It doesn't mean it shows up the way you think it's supposed to show up. It doesn't always show up the way you want it to show up. But the law of attraction really, for me, is God. It's like the perfect definition of what God is and how He works.
Okay, so tell me, what is it you're attracting right now with your kids screaming in the back? No, we're attracting motherhood is what's happening. I hope all of you realize that we are real women and real mothers, and you can still grow your business, grow your wealth, grow your mindset, grow your influence in this world, even while you're a mom. Trust me, especially women are most equipped in order to make that huge impact because we know how to prioritize, we know how to juggle all our responsibilities and blessings. So thanks so much, Andrea, that you're here. I'm so glad you made it here. All right, so let's talk about if you have questions, those of you who are watching, if you have questions, put them into that blog post in the comments, and then we'll do our best to answer it within the time allotted. And start thinking, where in your life have you been doubting that something you want is coming just because at the time it doesn't look like what you expected? So sometimes what I have found, and I found it through personal experience, but also through viewing, hearing my clients describe their experience, is that because it's not coming how we expect it, or in the time frame that we're expecting it, we quit that focus. We quit asking for it. We quit trying to align with it. And this is where I want to point out to our listeners today that when you take the focus and the intention off what it is that you desire, it's almost like you placed an order with a local store and said, this is what I want. And you lose patience. And as it's driving towards your house, you call into the store, you say, never mind, I don't believe it's coming, so I'm canceling my order. And that's canceling your order when the truck is just around the corner. And so when Andrea was mentioning the aligning with it, you align with it in faith. And this is how the law of attraction resonates with me in regards to a divine creator because it is faith. The law of faith says that whenever you believe, you take some sort of action that confirms that faith. And the law of attraction is nothing but faith. Knowing that it's coming, knowing that there is a divine Father who desires good things for you. And so if you've had any doubts in regards to the terms law of attraction, don't throw it out the window just because of the name. Just because of the name. As Andrea mentioned, it's on all the time. We can attract cynicism or we can attract optimism. We can attract hopeful people or we can attract jerks. It's always working. So why not focus on holier things, on divine things, on things that bring you joy? All right, so Andrea, here's the other question. I would like for you, if that's okay, for you to share why bad things happen to good people who are practicing faith or the law of attraction. And if you would kind of describe for people the experience that you had many years ago that you now consider this huge blessing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking me to share this story. It's really, truly one of my favorites and was a hugely life-altering event for me and for my entire family. When I was young, we lived in a mobile home park. My dad was very optimistic, knew that good things were going to happen, good things were going to come about, but he didn't know how, he didn't know what was going to happen and stuff. My mom, same thing, she had a lot of belief and faith in my dad, and we were there for a while. And so just like, that whole idea of putting in your order and then giving up, when our opportunity and our blessing came, it did not come the way that you would think. It did not come with a rainfall of money and, hey, here's this amazing new job or anything like that. Instead, my family went to a fast food place and they happened to have a little bouncy thing, that you jump on the little pillow of air, bouncy castle type thing. And the wind came and blew it up, and my sister and I went up with it. She broke every bone in her body just about. She was given a 10% chance of living. I broke my back, and I was in the hospital for 6 days. My sister was in the hospital for 6 weeks. And luckily, because I really was blessed with amazing parents, my mom and I, and so we didn't stop and think, oh my gosh, why did this happen to us? What have we done to deserve this horrible thing? Instead, it was, okay, you know, I don't know why, but we're going to figure this out. We're going to get through it, and we're going to find the blessings. And wow, were we blessed. Because of that, my parents were able to finally buy the home that had been their dream home, and able to afford all of that. From there, as things kept moving, my dad was able to bring in way more money than he'd ever brought in before. My mom, I mean, everything worked out. The people that we met, we became good friends with a senator, and we were able to put through legislation to help keep other kids safe. I mean, it was amazing, the blessings and the lessons and the gifts that just flooded into our family and to all the people around us that were affected by it.
Okay, so you're saying that this tragedy was a blessing. How the heck do you describe this to somebody who's in the middle of it? What do you share with them? What was the turning point? What in the middle of it? What was it? What would you say to somebody else that's going through something that's hard?
It is hard, and for me, there wasn't a being in the middle of it and having to pull myself out of that, because I had really truly been brought up that way my entire life, whereas I know that that's not most people. And so you do have to find a moment where you think, okay, this can either get really bad or I can turn this around. And in that moment, that's the moment that you stop and you say, okay, there are blessings here. I know there are blessings here. Let me find them. Where are they? And the moment, literally, the moment that you ask the question, where are the blessings? And so that's what you're asking, and that's what you're thinking about. That is the moment that all of a sudden they start to appear. And they really had always been there, but because you weren't seeing them, they were sort of like on hold, or something like that. Maya Angelou also had an incredible, horrible tragedy happen in her life when she was really young. And when I think she was 5, she was raped and molested by, I think it was a neighbor, and just horrible, horrible thing. Well, because of it, she decided not to speak, and she didn't speak for 5 years or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to go back. It's in her book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And during that time that she wouldn't speak, because of the trauma of that, she read and read and read and read and read. And so when she did start to speak again, she spoke with power. She spoke with conviction. She was, I mean, all you had to do was listen to her say one or two things, and you know what she gained and the blessings, some, or at least some of the blessings, really. I know there were more than that, but they came from this horrific event. And she even says in the book, great things can come from horrible, painful, terrible experiences. And it really is true. It doesn't matter what it is. The cost in something is only required of the person who chooses to do this horrible thing. The blessings are always inherent for anyone else that is affected by those terrible things.
All right, ladies, so are you listening here? Life is going to happen. Other people have agency. However, you always have the choice to participate in a law that is always working. That's the law of attraction, or the law of vibration, or focus. right? So I know people who have gone through similar tragedies. For example, I know several families who've lost a young child before. And if you probably know people who've gone through a very tragic experience before, and have you noticed that for me, I saw these two families, and one came out from this tragedy or this experience feeling very victimized, and life was very sad and hard, and it still continues to be so, even though it's been more than a decade since this experience. And another family can come out of an experience going, because of this, I know that there is more. Because of this, I learned about true compassion and service. And now I see compassion and service all the time. And it's allowed me to serve and allowed me to speak to people and open up these opportunities for me. Now, I've observed that. Have you? Have you
Yes.
seen people who come out, of an experience where they come out optimistic or pessimistic? And the law of attraction is asking you to choose which path they say, which path do you want us to send you things from? Oh, you want this optimistic one. Well, here's some more stuff that fits that vibration that you will attract because it's in alignment with what you're aligning with. Pessimism in life is hard? Well, here's this track, and we want to obey and align with what you're thinking, so here's some more. So you get to choose. Now, remember earlier that sometimes you receive those preparatory experiences, and it's powerful to remember, I am being built up. I am being grown. I am being prepared for something greater. Okay, so we've only got a few minutes left, and let's just talk about for 2 minutes what happens for people what would you say for people who say, I have everything I need, and you know what, it's kind of selfish for me to ask for more. So I think that the law of attraction is for greedy people. What would you say to that?
Greed is a real thing, absolutely. There is such a thing as greed. However, who are we to say what is enough or what is too much? Who are we to say? To me, that's such an egotistical thing to say. This is enough. And honestly, I'm a very low maintenance person. I don't need very much. But guess what? That means everything more than what I need, I get to use to bless other people. I get
Amen!
to use, yes, to bless my children, to bless my husband, to bless my neighbors, to bless anyone. And I do it all the time. And it becomes easy. And that's the wonderful and amazing thing with once you really latch on to the law of attraction and the law of abundance, and you see it in your life, then all the stuff that's extra, instead of looking at it and thinking, oh, I don't know, I hope people don't think badly of me or whatever. I mean, look at people like Mitt Romney. He has a lot. Do you think that at any point he said, this is enough, I'm just gonna, no, he said, this is great, but I can do more, and if I do more, then I can do even more, and I can help more, and I can be more, and I can do and be more for more people. So why in the world cut ourselves off?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I already gave my amen, but I'm going to say amen again. It's true. If at any point you feel, I don't need any more, okay, well, who does? Who can it be shared with? Here's the other thing. If you think that there is no use for any extra, then it might be time to evaluate what your focus is on and to expand your focus. Expand who you can see, because there is an awful lot of people who are needing the hope and the resources, the time, the affection, the service of people, good people, who have what they need. If you just want to hold people, just like as Mother Teresa did, just go hold a child and feed them and touch them and let them know that they're loved. That takes resources. Mother Teresa was one of the biggest fundraisers. She raised millions of dollars. No, she didn't drive a Mercedes, but she did a lot of work with that money. Now, I'm not asking you to go out and be Mother Teresa. You have your own divine purpose. You have this portion on this planet and of this time in which you can influence. And I promise you that if you will use these eternal principles of abundance and faith, that you will impact people in ways that you never saw imaginable, that you never thought was imagined or imaginable for you. And the other thing, too, is that you will learn that you can live your God-given mission now with joy and have all the resources, the relationships, and the time that you need and that you desire in order to do that good work. All right, so we only have, yep, wow, time flies, doesn't it? Ah. Whether you're having a good time or not, it flies, but I had a really good time, so it's flying faster. All right, so let's see, real quickly, what would you suggest as one or two resources for people who want to understand not just the law of attraction, but other laws and principles of prosperity? What would you suggest for them to research or go look up?
Well, there is a great book by Leslie Householder on she's the Jackrabbit Factor, and for heaven's sake, now I can't think of the name of the other one. But they go over the laws really well and really easy to understand, and it's a short book, so it's a great resource, or anything like that. As well as we have, or I'm an admin for a Facebook group called Laws of Abundance and Prosperity, LDS Perspective. So anyone who's a member of the LDS Church, that's a really great resource. We talk about this stuff a lot. Adhis knows because we get to chat a lot on there. And then, of course, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer them. So find me on Facebook, Andrea Graf, and I'm more than happy to answer questions anytime. I'm on there at least twice a day, every day. So I will definitely get your message.
Awesome. All right, so ladies, have you learned something about the law of attraction that you are unclear about? Do you have more questions? Well, what do you do now that you're like, okay, I get it. I line up with the feelings and the vibration. Now what? Well, so at New Money Mama, I take my clients through the Vivid Mind Method, which is 12 parts. Yeah, 12 parts for my higher level clients in order to rewire their beliefs from scarcity and, you know, there's nothing really much for me to, wow, I didn't realize that I was worth this and that I could impact this much. Now, what has happened in the last few weeks, and I always take these signs that come to me, is I've had over a dozen women come to me at different times asking me to teach them some of the tools. Well, one of the tools that has been requested quite often is how to build a vision board that works. How many of you have built a vision board? Have you built one? All right, so here's what I found as I was working with friends and with clients is that a lot of people had built these beautiful projects, these wonderful collages that they put up on their walls, and it was fun to build. But the reason these women were coming to me is because it had been a year, 2 years, 3 years. And when it was fun to build that collage, it wasn't fun to look at it and see that most of the things on there were not in their lives. And in fact, there were a few people who hadn't manifested any of the things on their vision board, and that's very frustrating. And I'm here to tell you that vision boards work when done properly. And the thing is that most people heard the magic of vision boards, but they were not instructed how to do it, or they were given bad information, or they just guessed. And that's awesome when you just take a first step and you realize, well, this isn't working. What's next? So I took one of the modules that I give to my higher level clients and I created a product that you can purchase for yourself. And it's just that one module for you. If you go to newmoneymama.com and /vision board, I'll pull that up for you. You will see that I have put that one module up available. And so, I mean, how many times have you made a collage of magazine cutouts wishing for those dreams to be yours? I mean, lots of people have heard of vision boards, but they made them into craft projects. And so what I put up here was a 37-page manual in a video for you to be able to create a vision board in a way that it moves. It actually aligns your thinking and what you desire. It helps you to focus your mind and start to rewire your thinking into abundance. Now, this is just one of the tools, but it's one of my most requested. This kit will describe exactly the science and the woo-woo, for those of you who are already into that level, why good vision boards work. And it'll tell you exactly how your vision board should be moving. It should be moving. It shouldn't be staying still and stagnant. I'll share with you the order in which to place images on your board. You'll learn the 3 things that every vision board must have to be effective. I'll show you where to place your vision board, how to choose what items to put on your vision board first, because yes, it matters. The one thing you should be doing every time you put a new goal on your vision board. How to find the pattern in which you manifest certain things and experiences. Here's the thing. I've learned that everybody has different gifts and talents. We know that. But also everybody has different strengths in what types of things they manifest quicker. Silly little side thing, for me, I found out that I manifest tech gadgets really quickly. And I'm not even a tech girl, but that's just a gift that was given to me. You'll find out the 2 things you should do every time you complete a goal on your vision board. And yep, you're going to learn how to interact with your vision board. Because yep, once it's on the wall, there's actually more to do. It's not just a cute little project. So if you're one of those women who is wondering, how the heck do I get my vision board to work? How the heck do I start thinking positive thoughts when I've been so accustomed to looking at and hearing and speaking a certain way? This is a kit for you in creating a visual map that attracts to you all of the righteous desires of your heart. And I'll share with you stories and actual techniques to align that reality with life. So I sell this. If you go to my actual website and you click on products, you'll find that my vision board kit is $49. But people who've been with New Money Mama already know every time I do an online event or a live event, I always do a different price, and that's because you spent the time with me. So you can order your copy of a vision board that works for $37. All you need to do is go to newmoneymama.com/vision board, all one word, and that's just for those people who have tuned into this online event. That's newmoneymama.com/vision board. All right, so now you know where to find it, and since we're, woohoo, time's quick. All right, ladies, we've talked about as much as we could fit in 30 minutes. If you want to continue talking about the law of attraction, you find Andrea Graf on Facebook, Graf, and send her a message, say that you would like to ask her some more questions about her experiences and understanding with these principles. You can also stay tuned with newmoneymama.com, find us on Facebook, facebook.com/newmoneymama. And you can contact me through there as well with questions and comments. If you've got somebody who you'd like to hear from or hear stories from or principles or somebody you'd love for me to interview, send me a message as well, and I will contact them and see when they can come and present. So give me those ideas as well. All right, Money Mamas, I just want to remind you that your DNA was planted by a divine creator. And this divine creator knew exactly what he was doing when he put you together. When he put your hips, your eyes, your figure, your language, your characteristics, your personality, and yes, even the desires of your heart. And when you honor the desires of your heart, you're honoring the DNA that was put there by a creator. And when you're honoring that DNA, you're honoring that creator. So this is my reminder to you that life is rich, and so are you. We'll talk later. Thanks, Andrea, for joining us.
Thanks, Adhis.
Mommy. Mommy. Mommy.